So right now in Southwest Florida, we're seeing huge inventory buildups. We're seeing price declines that are just not happening in other areas of the state. So I'll take a dive into the data here, kind of show you what's going on, because the numbers really show where I think this is going in the future. Welcome back, guys. We are on the rooftops of Punta Gorda today. In my last video, I told you about our condo crisis going on statewide. I pointed out that as far as single-family homes go, Southwest Florida seemed to be doing a lot worse. It wasn't a across-the-board kind of thing like it was for the condos. So I decided I'd take a look at a couple specific areas, then show you guys what is going on in Southwest Florida and try to figure out why we, as a section of the state, seem to have the most listings pretty much anywhere right now. I mean, these numbers, just like the condo numbers I gave you, are really mind-blowing. I think they're going to shock you, especially when you see how they compare to other parts of the state. Now, obviously, guys, a big asterisk. We had a major hurricane here last year. I suspect that that is causing some of the exodus, but to explain all of these listings just doesn't seem probable to me for that to be the reason. So as a state on the whole right now, Florida's inventory of active listings for single-family homes is up 14%. When you contrast that to even some of our lower growing areas like Sarasota, Sarasota's home inventory is up 38% year over year, going from 3,400 to 4,800 listings from last November till this November. That is a massive jump. When you head down to Lee County, it gets even worse with a 70% jump year over year. Lee County looking at 3,500 single-family home listings last November. At the end of this November, that had ballooned to 6,200 homes listed for sale, guys. That's crazy, a 78% increase in Lee County. And then Charlotte, of course, we do not have as much inventory as Lee County does, but our active listings are up 124% year over year for single-family homes. That is explosive. That is going from 1,152 single-family homes listed last year at this time to 2,500, guys. And when you look at the state as a whole, it's only up 14%. So why are we seeing these enormous jumps here? Even Naples, Marco Island, and the Immokalee area up 29% year over year on their inventory. A lot lower than what I just said, but still very high. Meanwhile, Tampa's number of listings is actually down, and so is Miami's. So guys, when I see these kind of inventory jumps compared to other areas, it's not just the hurricane. Sure, there's some of that, and it's not just the insurance, because the insurance is up everywhere. It's just like the condo problems. They're going on statewide. The insurance problems are going on statewide. I understand some of you guys haven't seen increases. If you live in the middle of the state, maybe you haven't seen any increases. Obviously, the coasts are going to be more expensive, and that's where we are. But to cause such massive jumps along Southwest Florida and people listing their homes, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you've kept an eye on the rental market like I have, I think that also has a big factor here. As you guys know, we have almost double the amount of rentals on the market in Charlotte County specifically than we had 6 months ago. I think when the pandemic boom occurred, Charlotte County, Lee County, most of Southwest Florida was kind of viewed as still a relatively affordable area to invest in. A lot of people swooped in here, spent a lot of money picking up rental properties, Airbnbs that have not worked out because the demand has not stayed the same. So I do believe that some of that we have is hurricane-induced, and we also have investors fleeing the area. If you guys have seen other stuff that I've put out, you'll know that investors are sort of fleeing Florida right now, depending on where the deals are still. And speaking of investment properties, guys, the rents in Punta Gorda, the asking rents, were down 20% year over year, according to Zumper. But last month, they spiked up 17%. And can you understand why that is? It's because that's just another group of people that think season is here and it's going to turn everything around, even though this has pretty much been going on since last spring. I appreciate all the guys in the comments who come in. You add your experiences as landlords. Thank you so much for letting us know what's going on the ground. It takes a lot to come on and say, some of the stuff you're saying. And, it's really crazy to me that everyone's getting emboldened. The Airbnbs are coming on the market here. They're for rent now, for annual rent. They're astronomically priced. they're so much higher than equivalent houses right next to them. I don't know what they're thinking. Even ones that have been on the market for sale are still sitting there. It's crazy. And then the apartment complexes. All the apartment complexes with their rent algorithms. A 2-2 at one of our luxury apartment complexes here. 5-6 weeks ago, $1,900 a month you could get in the door. Now after fees, it's going to be higher than that. Well, they spiked those up to $2,200 to $2,300. Jacked their one bedrooms up to almost $2,000. And I honestly don't know who they think is going to come and take these off their hands, especially in season. Seasonal people come here for season. They don't rent annually. So I think it's just a mess all around. And honestly, guys, I only see the rental situation getting worse and worse here and making more and more properties come on the market because they just can't get them rented out. And we'll give you guys a little sunset spin of downtown Punta Gorda. So right now in Southwest Florida, we're seeing huge inventory buildups. We're seeing price declines that are just not happening in other areas of the state. So I'll take a dive into the data here, kind of show you what's going on because the numbers really show where I think this is going in the future. All right, guys, so starting right off with single-family homes for the state of Florida, the inventory, months of inventory up 32.1%, hitting 3.7 months. Still, like I said, well in seller's market territory. Inventory of active listings creeping up 14%, going from 69,000 to 79,000 year over year. Not that huge of a jump, but for this time of year, kind of strange to see that. Looks like the median sales price for the whole state up 3.3%, sitting at $413,000, and the average sales price is up 5.6%, sitting at $565,000. But you're going to see that this fluctuates so wildly depending on which county you're in, and especially here in Southwest Florida. Jumping over to Palm Beach, Broward, Miami-Dade, you can see that the months of inventory up 14.7%, sitting at 3.9. Not a big jump. The active listings actually down year over year. So these are some of the big discrepancies you're going to see as we go through county to county and we go on each side of the state. Up in the Miami area, the listings are actually down from last year, ever so slightly at 3.1%, sitting at 12,051. But that has a median sales price increasing of 10% year over year and an average sales price increase of 8.7% year over year, which is almost the exact opposite of what we're seeing here. And keeping with our big cities, we'll hop over here on the West Coast, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area. Looks like their inventory, again, only up 12%. Everything in here is kind of keeping with the state, but it's very tight. They went from 2.4 months to 2.7. That is almost no months of inventory, guys. Their active listings are also down 0.8% year over year, going from 9,161 to 9,085. So this is super seller's market in here. Again, it's going to change every neighborhood, but this general MSA, this is really low, 2.7 months, which is pushing their prices. Their average sales price is up year over year, 14.8%, going from $465K to $534K. Their median sales price a little slightly behind that at 3.8%, sitting at $410,000. So two of our major cities here on either coast doing fairly well. Inventory still tight, though not rising to the extent that it is in Miami, it looks like, in months of inventory at least. This is a more affordable option. So for city goers, obviously, that makes sense. Now, heading into Southwest Florida, Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton, MSA. I'm going to break these down separately because this is where stuff starts to get wonky. As you can see, much bigger months of inventory jump here, 44%, going from 2.7 to 3.9 months of inventory, getting dangerously close to balanced, or what I say is buyer's market, up in the fives there. We'll see where it goes during the season. Their inventory of active listings up 40%, going from 3,400 to 4,800. Now, the median sales price is down 1% year over year. The average sales price up 1.2% year over year. But again, I'm going to dive into Sarasota and Northport specifically here because it's such a large area that they're covering with this data. Okay, so now I'm just breaking off Sarasota County single-family homes. This is coming from the Florida Realtor stats for November of 2023. And you'll see they're a little different for months of inventory. Sarasota County as a whole, almost 80% increase in months of inventory year over year, going from 2.4 to 4.3, a little higher than what we've seen when Manatee's in there. Their active listings going up 60%, 1,683 homes last year to 2,700 homes on the market right now. So are we going to see what we saw in Tampa and watch all that inventory get pulled away? I don't know. It didn't happen last year. So we'll keep an eye on it. What is the average sales price floating around? Actually down 1.7% in Sarasota. You can see pretty flat through the year, sitting at $660,000. Median sales price barely moving as well at $500,000. Hopping over to the city of Northport specifically, we'll get down to the months of inventory here. Another 73% jump. They went from 3 months to 5.2. Now this is getting really high for months of inventory. They had a 63% increase in listings, going from 523 to 853 single-family homes. Their pending inventory is down 25% in Northport year over year. That is huge. That is what is causing this month supply of inventory buildup. 81 days to a contract on average, while we have some sellers asking why we don't have offers in 2 weeks. Their median sales price, pretty much in line with Sarasota, only down 1%, sitting at $390,000. Average sales price actually up 1.7% and has been going sideways. That's sitting at $424,000. So these sideways sales prices, but growing months of inventory and active inventory is basically telling you that sellers are all trying to hold out. There are some buyers, but buyers have pulled back massively. That's why this is up to 5.2 months. You know, if we were to add no more listings, how long would it take us to sell them all? It's showing that buyers are pulling back massively and sellers are kind of digging their heels in, but they have a lot more friends at the party now. 63% more competition is what that means for sellers in Northport. So guys, just looking at these increases, these are very stark contrasts to the rest of the state that I've showed you so far. That is why I brought those out first. Let's continue on to Charlotte County. So for November 2023, Charlotte County seeing 157.7% rise in inventory. That is crazy. Months of inventory. 2.6 months going to 6.7 months, guys. We are well past what you could even classify as a traditional balanced market. This is buyer's market territory. I know some of you in the comments say not a buyer's market when the prices are double what they were 5 years ago, but by strict technical definition, buyers have a lot more power here because we have 124% more listings than we did last year. Man, they went from 1,152 single-family homes listed to 2,500, guys. Now, some of this from my walking videos, you guys will see, is new construction. But it's not all of it. A huge chunk of it is new construction, but we have so much inventory hitting the market here, and also our pending inventory is down 20% year over year. So that's going to have a big effect on prices, and oh, look, it is. The average sales price here down almost 4%, sitting at $435,000. That's very different from the rest of the state, and even Northport and Sarasota. The median sales price down 10%, sitting at $370,000. This is people rushing to buy cheaper homes. And I will tell you, for $370,000, you can get a brand new build, probably pretty decent house. So it's tough to compete with that if you've got existing resale in the area. Our paid in cash is up 45% year over year. So we only had 111 in November 2022, but that was Hurricane Ian had just hit us. So some of those numbers are going to be skewed, which makes that even more interesting that our prices are down 10% year over year, because this was when the hurricane hit and everybody was backing out left and right. Just to illustrate that statement, look at the active listings. 2019, we had a little over 2,000. We are sitting at 2,500. We've surpassed pre-pandemic levels of homes listed. And in November last year, that's where it was. So, you know, the hurricane didn't take that many listings off the market. September, it's a little higher. Hurricane probably caused this little dip right here for 4 months, and then January, February started picking back up, but it has not stopped. We're just not taking these houses off the market at the speed that we need to, is something I've harped on here. Same issue with months of inventory, guys. Here was sitting at 5 months back in 2019. We are well surpassed that at 6.7. I've never seen inventory this high the entire time I've been here. I've never seen it. And like, look, it was 2.6 last year. This is such a catastrophic jump that tells you buyers are fleeing and listings are skyrocketing. Is some of this the hurricane? I don't know. Moving on to Lee County, continuing Southwest Florida's trends. Lee County's inventory up 96.4%, not as drastic as Charlotte's, obviously, but still going up from 2.8 months to 5.5, increasing their listings 76%, going from 3,500 homes listed to 6,200 200 homes listed in just 1 year's time, guys. That is crazy. While their pending inventory also falls 13%. They've seen a negative 2% dip in their average sales price, a 2.5% rise in their median sales price. This is very interesting to me. We are listing so many more houses. We are pending less houses. We've closed more, but again, that's hurricane from last year. So, I mean, I don't know how much stock I'd put in that. But then the prices are kind of stagnant. So with so many more options, you have almost double the amount of options on the market now. Do you guys think prices are going to continue to stay stagnant, or are sellers going to have to get really competitive and start offering better deals? All right, Naples, Immokalee, Marco Island MSA, very interesting numbers. Median sales price down 11%, average sales price down 23%. That is crazy. That's crazy, but they get those kind of swings there. It's more the median you got to watch because, you know, so many luxury properties will move that around. Their months of inventory up almost 50%, sitting at 4.1 last November, now 6.1, with a 30% increase in their active listings for single-family homes, going from 1,850 to about 2,400. So, guys, these are very, very different numbers in Southwest Florida. Again, basically this region than you're seeing in Tampa, than you're seeing in Miami. You know what? Let me pop over to Ocala. Let me show you what Ocala's doing. Ocala's inventory only up 11%, and their months of inventory only up 11%. Active listings only up 14%. Month supply only going from 3.2 to 3.8. So Ocala still very tight. Ocala seeing a median sales price increase and kind of stagnant on the average sales price. 638 sales this November compared to 535 last November, a 20% jump in sales. So Ocala doing better than Naples? I don't know. That's what it looks like, doing better than Charlotte. So as you guys can see, things very different in Southwest Florida from other areas of the states. And you get a little bonus round if you hung on. We're going to go through the city of Punta Gorda single-family homes. Actually sold 44 this November. No surprise again, hurricane-induced, up 120%. Cash sales up 90%. Still going, well, it's about half of them. Not too bad. About 50% of sales were cash for November. Median sales price in Punta Gorda, unfortunately, down 28% year over year. Average sales price down 18%. So these are steep drops. This is the kind of stuff you're seeing if you dive down in areas of Southwest Florida that you're not going to see elsewhere. Looks like their inventory is not as bad as it was. It's it's not too awful. It's only up 181%, going from 2.7 months last year to 7.6, but they have 150% increase in the amount of listings in the city of Punta Gorda, going from 98 to 243 this November. So keep an eye out there. It is taking 140 days to get a contract right now. So those are the numbers, guys, for Southwest Florida, and they do not look good. I don't know who is going to come to the rescue in the spring to purchase all of these properties. These are just homes. We're not even counting all of the condos we have, the 8 months of inventory we have in Charlotte County, the 5-6 months of inventory they have in Lee County. It's probably worse now. I don't have the December numbers yet because we're still in it, but what is going to happen when everyone who's been waiting to list their house and doesn't know that there's this many properties on the market hits the market and just throws them out there, throws them into the wind at whatever price that they feel like, and they sit for months and months and months adding to what we already have? What's going to happen down here? And is Sarasota and the Bradenton area going to follow this, because they're growing fast as well? So is this going to spread to the rest of the state? I'm not really sure, because some areas are holding up extremely well. But the mystery is what is going on in Southwest Florida. What am I missing under the hood here, guys? My theories. Let me know what you think in the comments is going on, why everyone's fleeing the area. And if you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.